You are listening to Here Before, Here Now, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Hey there, guys. Colton here with another episode of Here Before, Here Now. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. I'm excited about my next guest. Her name is Laney Lupe. She is from the White Mountain Apache Tribe here in Arizona. And last year, she was crowned Miss Indian Arizona. And I was talking with her earlier, and she told me that her mission is to visit all 23 tribal nations here in our state. And she's about halfway through her goal. And I told her, you got a lot more to do, right? But she's here right now, and I'm so excited to introduce her to you. Laney, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. So tell me about yourself. Who is Laney?
Okay, the easiest way to go about it is just to introduce myself. So, tago de shi Laney Lupe once titlakay siya ninde shli shimala shita Eliza life extra Lupe daze. She Jeanette la shidale Gertie la Roger Lupe senior nei. She weighs san, she weighs teen. Sophie Brown nei la Roger Roy Brown nei. So my name's Laney. I'm a member of the White Mountain Apache Tribe, 62nd Miss Indian Arizona. My parents are Eliza and Fitzgerald Lupe, and my paternal grandparents are Gertie and the late Roger Lupe Sr. My maternal grandparents are Roy Brown and the late Sophie Brown.
Okay, Lupe, I apologize. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's pretty incredible. I mean, we were talking about royalty, and you come from a long line of people who've competed in pageants in your family before. Yes. Tell me about that.
So I have three aunties that have been former title holders from Miss Indian World Eskimo in Alaska, and as well as Miss Indian America, and then Miss Indian Arizona as well. So they've all held titles at the national stage and also the local stage at our reservation. So it's kind of a legacy that they've built, and I want it to be a part of that legacy. And, you know, Miss Indian Arizona is the start of mine.
Yeah, it seems like it's a huge responsibility, right? Because you're representing not only your tribe, but now you're representing all Indian tribes in Arizona. What's that feel like? How do you take on that responsibility?
So I must admit, at first it was kind of like daunting because it is a big responsibility. But over the past couple months, I've been able to visit 10 of the 22 tribes. So with each event that I've been to, it's been amazing to interact with the indigenous communities and be able to hear the words of encouragement. And I like it when they say, I see you on Facebook and it's so cool to see you right now. And, you know, they kind of see me as, you know, a public figure, of course, but to me, I'm just Laney. So it's really cool to just have that support from not only my community, but other communities as well. And it just lessens the, I guess, the load of being Miss Indian Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I've been a judge for other pageants before, like Miss Indian World.
Oh, wow.
And other things in New Mexico, where I used to work for a while. Tell people who don't know about the pageantry in Indian country, what does it mean to Native people, young women and girls, and those who do have those titles?
So I think for our young women especially, it's going to empower them and have them step outside of their comfort zone because, you know, naturally as Indigenous women and even just as community members as a whole, we keep to ourselves and we like to do our own things. But being able to step outside of your comfort zone and be on stage and talk to, you know, a room full of people is really hard, but it gives you that confidence and also it allows you to be able to speak to other people and learn more about them and gain that knowledge and gain that power for yourself so that you can be able to go about life in the best way possible. So I think that's really important for our Indigenous youth. And it also just gives our community members somebody to look up to and inspire them as well.
When it comes to the pageant, there's always an element of cultural knowledge, knowing some of the language. What are some of the things that you had to do to prepare for this competition?
Yes. So one of the main things that we were told during our pre-orientation was that our personal interviews is the highest that you can get. And so with that being said, one of the tips that we got from one of the association members was to have kind of like a fake panel of people, of family members. And I remember her saying, think of like the person that you're most scared of and intimidated by and have them ask you questions.
Uh-oh.
And
Who was that for you?
I thought of my uncle. We call him Buffy. I thought of him automatically, and I was like, ooh, like just that, like that nervousness. And so with that, and my other uncles too, I think they're my best but toughest critics.
Uncles are always the scariest, aren't they?
So we had them ask me some questions, and they didn't take it easy on me, but I did my best, and it just helped me work those nerves out. So I think that's one way of preparing, but also talking to my grandmother and my aunties about their experience in pageantry and their knowledge about the Ninde culture. So that's what helped me personally to prepare for Miss Indian Arizona.
Mm-hmm. What's it like to be like the person who is younger generation to carry on that cultural knowledge, especially being in the pageantry and representing your tribe and the Indian tribes here in our state? What's it like to be that person to carry that forward? It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, like the more you think about it, the more I guess daunting, and you kind of do get nervous. But I think just mainly the main thing in anything in life that I've been taught in sports and in life is to just give your personal best. So giving your personal best of holding that knowledge, talking to your elders, talking to community members as a whole, and being able to get that knowledge that they've experienced, because we all have our own stories. So, personally, I'm trying to carry on that knowledge and, pass it on to the younger generation, and as well as getting other knowledge from the other tribes, because I'm representing them as well. And being able to be a good listener and, take it all in as a sponge, basically, and again, hold it. And then when the next people come up, the next generation, when they ask you questions, doing your best in answering it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When we started this interview, you introduced yourself in your language. Could you tell us what you said?
So that was my introduction, saying that I come from the Great White Mountain Apache Tribe, and who my parents are, and my maternal and paternal grandparents.
Okay. And when you tell your I guess colleagues or peers or people who are not, who do not identify as Native, when they hear that, what is their response?
Their one that I got is like they just have like a big smile on their face, and they're like, "Wow, like you know how to speak, you know how to introduce yourself in your language." I'm like, "Yes, I do. I'm learning, and I'm always learning, trying to learn and better myself in that." But I've had some really great reactions, I guess, of like, I guess they're proud of me, and they're also like intrigued and asking me, like, you asked me what my introduction were, what I said, and I told you it was my introduction. So also having the support of them. So I think it's really nice that, people are supportive of us trying to keep our culture alive and our languages alive.
A few weeks ago, one of the award shows happened, the Golden Globes. Lily Gladstone, she had won for Best Actress in a drama movie, and she had spoken her language. And I think that resonated with a lot of people in Indian country, right? To like hear that language coming from someone broadcast on this national scale that, Native tribes, there are so many different ones, each has their own language, but people still speak their languages to this day. What's that like to see that?
It's amazing representation, and I think that's what we need for our younger generations to know that, like for us, the older generation, they didn't have that representation in media. And another one that I think of is the Res Dogs, the FMX show. And, that's representation that our younger generation is getting. So to them, it's normal seeing, Indigenous people on screen. But for us, it wasn't like that. And so I think it's really amazing that she was able to speak her language and, give thanks to everyone who's helped her along the way. And it was just really powerful for everyone. And she looked so beautiful on that stage. Loved it.
So Laney, tell me about your life. You said you grew up in your community on the reservation. What was that like? And you went to school, and then you went to college. How did your journey start? Take you all the way back, right?
We're flashing all the way back. So I live on the Fort Apache Indian Reservation in White River, Arizona. And we like to call it, the community that I'm in is North Side. So I'm a proud Northside member.
So there's North Side,
Yeah.
South Side,
Yeah.
West Side, East Side.
So
Rivalry? Is there a rivalry among all of them?
well, I guess a little, you know how natives are. We like to taunt with each other every now and then. So there's definitely that. And so I always like to joke around with that, but grew up there. And then I went to Alchese High School, where I graduated as co-valedictorian of 2019. And then I was also part of the 2019 2A Girls State Championship team for basketball. And then I did a walk-on trial at Central Arizona College in Coolidge, Arizona. Was a part of the women's basketball 2020 Division I regional championship team. That's a lot. And then was able to further my education in basketball journey at Park University, where I won the Wendy Romero Women's Basketball Award, and then also got my bachelor's degree in sports and exercise science with the concentration in exercise physiology. Graduate of magna cum laude, and now currently taking a year off, being Miss Indian Arizona, and currently working on my applications for my master's. So that's kind of just like an overview of what I've done, like my accomplishment wise. But you know, within that, there's, of course, everyone has their own stories and like personal battles and triumphs and failures, and I feel like all of it's just shaped me into who I am today, and I want to be able to share that with our Indigenous youth. And they don't need to go in sports to be successful. You know, it's in any different way. As long as they have that passion, that drive, and that faith and support, they're able to do anything.
Yeah. So if you and I were to play horse right now, you'd probably beat me then.
Well, I am a little bit rusty, so maybe you have a chance.
Yeah, I did do a bank shot on the air with some people out at Mesa a few weeks ago. But yeah, gosh, natives really take basketball seriously, right? Tell me about that, especially growing up in it and making your college probably paid for because of that.
So one thing that I remember, I can't remember her name, but she was kind of someone that kind of resonated with me, and she said, you know, basketball is going to be most of our tickets out of here. And I didn't know what she meant then because I was a little girl, but now I understand because, you know, through basketball I've been able to travel across the, you know, country and be able to meet new people and play in new places, and you know, I'm holding those memories and that journey with me. And I think it's really amazing how it's done that for us, and especially like in community, it brings our community together for sure. When basketball comes around, be sure that all Indigenous people are going to be at those basketball games cheering their hearts out. And we have the state playoffs coming up, so I'm excited for that. I know that I'm going to be supporting all the teams, especially in 3A North, and be able to see all of the Indigenous talents, and it just uplifts our people, and I really like the atmosphere of it.
Are you the ones who shouts from the stands?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you are applying to sports medicine stuff going forward, what do you hope to do with that when you're done with all that? When you get your degree, and do you want to like go back to your community and help there, or what's your plan? Or what would you like to do? You know, everything's changed. Everything changes.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, you know, any Indigenous student who goes off to college, most of their mindset is bring it back to the community. And I think that's important because, you know, our community is what's helped raise us into the people that we are today. So it's good to give back. But for me, I want to do that, you know, a little bit later in life. One of my goals is to be an athletic trainer for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
So that's like the big goal. And then, you know, get a little bit of experience. I've met some athletic trainers who have been a part of like the world rugby teams, World Cup teams, and, you know, be able to travel the world. So I want to be able to do that with athletic training, and, you know, when everything's said and done, come back home and be able to create an athletic training program at our local high school, because we do not have an athletic trainer on staff. So I think our Native youth deserve to have one and be able to help them through injuries and work out different, you know, even mental health stuff, being able to have that person there, because I know that my athletic trainer at college really helped me through a lot of things, especially being away from home. So I want to be able to, you know, try to create that atmosphere at our local high school.
When you were running for Miss Indian Arizona, did you have to portray a talent?
Mm-hmm.
What was your talent?
So my talent for the Miss Indian Arizona pageant was the Apache deer story.
Uh-huh.
So I was able to do that through an Apache elder. He told the story and it got passed down to me, and he gave me the blessing to be able to perform it that night. And that was the only night that I am to perform it until, further notice or until I get the blessing again. So that was my talent for the night. And it's just telling the Apache deer story and then doing a dance with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for people who don't know about some of the stuff that Native people hold sacred, is some of these stories and dances that aren't necessarily for public consumption, right?
Yes.
So what was it like to get that blessing from him to be able to do this? And was he on board with it, or was there some trepidation?
He was definitely on board with it. Him and his wife have been supporting me ever since I got crowned. They were actually there that night, and before the pageant, we kind of did, I think it was the Native American Recognition Day. I'm not really sure the actual name, but we did a parade and we did a little walkthrough around the vendors, mm-hmm. and they were there, and it felt like it came in full circle, having him there and being able to talk with him a little bit before the actual pageant started, like the hustle and bustle of it. And then when I got crowned, I was able to talk to them again, and they're, excited for me and happy for me. And since then, they've just been one of my biggest supporters. They've been at tribal parades and they'll wave at me. And it's really heartwarming, and it's amazing to have that support from them.
What was your mission in becoming Miss Indian Arizona? What did you want to accomplish? Like when they ask you, what's your goal, or what's your platform?
Mm-hmm. So my platform for this year is promoting the importance of being physically active. It helps us spiritually, mentally, and physically. And that's with my, it stems from my passion of sports. And, it's helped me in those ways. And I want to be able to incorporate that. And not even just to Indigenous athletes, sharing my story and letting them know that they can do it as well. But letting our people know that, we need to move. We need to get our bodies moving because, we do suffer a lot of diabetes and health complications within that realm for Indigenous people. So just being able to get up and walk probably 15, 20 minutes a day is going to help you a lot. And I want to be able to bring awareness to that. And that was one of my, motivators for it. But I also want to just be an inspiration, be able to inspire the youth and the community members to go after their goals and dreams, because I didn't think that I was going to be Miss Indian Arizona or try out for it. But, I took that leap of faith and here I am now. So definitely anybody can do it.
So one of your goals was to visit all of the tribal nations in Arizona, mm-hmm. 10 of 22 so far. Which has been the most interesting experience in traveling to a nation? And
there's all of them are special and unique in their own way, and I'm always going to carry those memories with me. But the one that made me cry, it was an overwhelming feeling of joy and appreciation, was for Yuma-Kachan tribe. We did the spiritual run and then a gathering afterwards. And so we ran in the Yuma sands the Yuma sands and the hot sun, and then being able to have prayers and dancing. And then later on that evening, we had the gathering and having their community members, and not even just their community members, but community and tribal people from different tribes came. So some were from the Californian side and some from the Arizona side, and it was just, you could feel that prayer and that sacredness there, and it was amazing. And they're really supportive. I felt right at home, because I remember we were dancing bird dance, and at the end there's I think there's a beat that you go to. And so one of the tribal elders, he was messing around with me, and he went a little bit too long than he was supposed to. And I was trying to be respectful, mm-hmm. and do the same thing. And he started laughing. He's, I'm just messing with you. So I was, it's just that camaraderie and that family, and that you felt. And so after, they gave me a gift, and they just showed their appreciation to me. And reluctantly we had to leave a little bit early, so we left. And right when I got in the car, I cried, and I cried all the way to the hotel because it was just an overwhelming feeling of love and appreciation. And so that's one of the events that I really, that's highlighted. But like I said at the beginning, each tribe that I visit, they all have their own unique memories and experiences that I've had there that I'm going to hold close to me even after I give up my title.
A lot of people here in Phoenix and aren't aware that there are 22 tribes in our states. When you go out and about and do your duties as Miss Indian Arizona, do you encounter people who are just like unaware of Native people still here in our state and still thriving and doing, their thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of, it happens a lot than you would think. And so, I take that as an opportunity to just educate them a little bit about who I am as a tribal member and as a person, and then also as a title holder of Miss Indian Arizona, and letting them know that there are 22 tribes. And like you said, we're thriving, we're here, and we're doing amazing things in our communities. And so it's definitely an opportunity for me to be able to educate them on that. And it does happen quite frequently.
You brought up an interesting point earlier, talking about how, like, nowadays it seems like there's a lot of representation in many areas for Native people, and I am seeing that. When I was growing up, we didn't really have that much in terms of representation in news broadcasts. We had Mary Kim Titla, who, she is from the San Carlos Apache Reservation, and so I was really cool. It was really cool to see her in this regard. But now it seems like you've got Native people like really in all industries now.
Yes.
And, you're part of that. What's that like?
That it's still like that ending. You're part of that caught me off guard because, I don't really think of myself in that way. And I'm sure a lot of people, and they don't think of themselves in that way. They're just doing their thing. They're doing what they're passionate about, and for them, they're being the trailblazers and doing that. But for them, it's their passion, their love, and something that they want to do. And that's what I want to do with Miss Indian Arizona. It's something that I love to do. I like putting on the crown and, seeing the community members and being able to learn and communicate with them. So it's amazing to think that I'm a part of that. And it's humbling. If anything, it's humbling and it's an honor. And I'm grateful to, do that for our Indigenous people.
So your reign is until October?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is one thing that you really want to accomplish that's like at the top of your list that you really hope to do?
So that's definitely hit all the 22 tribes. And we're slowly working on that. My team and I were reaching out to the community members and tribal leaders. But that's definitely on the top of the list. But also, preparing for the pageant and making sure that the next title holder, that she gets, the pageant that she deserves, and all the girls, and have a good experience. So that's definitely on the top of the list. And just be involved in everything that I can. As one person, it's kind of hard to go to these events. So I'm just trying my best to, evenly space things out so that I can be able to enjoy each event and be in the moment. So that's kind of, I know there's a lot of goals in there, but top of the list, going to all the 22 tribes.
Have you done pageants before?
Yes. So it was when I was younger, though, as a little girl. And then basketball took hold of my life. My commitment was there. My passion was there. And what I was taught by my late grandfather, Roger Lupe Sr., was when you do something, you do it to the best of your abilities. You put 110% in. And so that's what I wanted to do with basketball. So, when I'm on the court, I'm trying to do my personal best, putting 110% in. And so that was my main focus. That's what I wanted to do. And then hand in hand, education was there. And that's how I was able to play basketball, was through my education. So I took that as seriously too. And so when my journey with basketball and my educational journey came to an end, I knew that I wanted to do Miss Indian Arizona. One, because of the legacy of my aunties leaving, but also to create my own legacy in that way and be an inspiration and do the best that I can. So right now I'm giving my personal best with Miss Indian Arizona.
Do you foresee any other pageants in the future?
Not currently, no.
Yeah.
we're still focusing on this because this has been, I think, at the beginning we were kind of overwhelmed with, the amount of responsibility it has. It's not just me holding this title, it's also my family and those supporting me. So it took us by surprise, but we definitely got a hold on things. So I think we're just focusing on this one right now.
What was the biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise is how much traveling there is.
Right.
And I know like that should be a given, but still, it's still a lot. And it's getting to where we're getting used to traveling down to Phoenix. It's like it's like a stroll in the park for us.
Right.
And it's a 4-hour drive from the Fort Apache Indian Reservation, but it's getting a little bit easier.
Yeah. Are you based there now, or are you here in the Valley?
No, I'm still based there. I'm working at one of our local high schools at the Blue Ridge Unified School District at Blue Ridge High School. So I'm working there. So that's where I'm based at, and I have to travel to and from different events from there.
Wow. That sounds like you got your hands full, right? With a lot of things going on at once. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here and shedding light for our viewers about what it means to hold a title in pageantry in Indian country. Any parting words of advice for other young girls or, anyone who wants to run for this or any sort of title?
So main thing is just take that leap of faith. And it's not even just to title holders, but to anybody out there, if you're on the fence of something and doing something, or if you're scared, that's all part of it. Take it all in, enjoy the moment, and take that leap of faith, because you never know when or where it will take you.
Yeah. And you have connections to the Chiefs, right, for the Super Bowl tickets?
I hope so. I just gotta make a call,
All right. Well, thank you so much, Laney, for coming. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Here Before, Here Now. Catch you next time.
This is Here Before, Here Now, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.